Hi, it's Michelle again from Knitting on the Side. Today is Saturday, April the 18th, and I got several things done this week. The first thing that I got done was the peacock shirt. All of the knitting is done. I've weaved in all the ends. The only thing I haven't done is actually wash and block it yet to make this lay flatter anyway. But it is all done. Last time I showed it to you guys, I was right here where that stitch marker's at. So I've done all of that and got it all completed and ready to wash and wear. I'm really excited about this. It fits great. I'm really happy with it. So super stoked about that. And the other thing that I got done this morning, actually, I finished my blanket. When I showed it to you last time, I was right there. So I finished all of this since I showed it to you last time. Um, the finished size is approximately 37 inches wide, and the length was double that. I can't do the math right now in my head. 74 inches approximately. And I say approximately because it is knit and it does stretch, but kind of when I tried to lay it out flat, that's kind of what I ended up with as far as measurements. This thing, I don't really have a plan for it yet. My entire plan was just use up the yarn. And I almost got that accomplished. I have a little bit left over, 19 and a half grams left over. And I'm just going to stick that in my scrap stash because it's not much. It's just a little bit. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I don't really need it for anything right now. But it takes up a lot less space than two full bags like this. And then this, I will set it aside. When it comes time to give it to somebody, then I will wash it and gift it, because there's no point washing it and then storing it, because then it's going to need washed again before I give it away anyways. So I'm going to save that step and just wait and wash it later when I'm ready to give it away. Let's see, that one, I've got notes over here. I used 505 grams of yarn for the blanket, and I had 19 grams left over. I started with 552 grams between all the yarn with the labels and the bags and everything. So, and yarn tails that I cut off or something. So I used a lot of the yarn, not all of it, but quite a bit. The shirt, I forgot to tell you, I made a size large and it took 345 grams. So that's pretty much seven 50-gram balls of yarn, exactly, almost, you know. I always buy extra though because I don't want to come up short. That would suck. So I've got three pretty full balls left over. Some of what I've got left over is little bits that got cut off during the process of making the shirt, because I wanted all of my yarn ball changes to happen like under an arm or something like that. So sometimes I cut off a little bit more than what I would normally leave if I was going to make a project that I could leave it in the middle of the, like change the balls in the middle of the item. But on a shirt, I don't want it where it's obvious, like on the front or the back. So I always try and put my yarn ball changes under the arm, because your arms are usually obstructing that, because it can make a little bit of a lump and I don't want it in an obvious place. So I did crack into the eighth ball just a tiny bit because of those pieces that I had cut off. So if I were to make one again, I would start with 8 balls. But I'm going to put this in my stash for some future project. I'm not going to worry about trying to use it all up right now. Had to do a little restart there. A couple other things that I got done this week. I pulled some scrap yarn out. I had some of this. It's called Big Twist Value yarn. This color is Sunrise Ombre. And it was left over from a chemo hat that I had made to donate. And I used to make a lot of baby hats. I've made hundreds of baby hats and donated them to the hospital over the years. But I hadn't made one in quite a while, so I decided I would make a couple baby hats. So I made a couple baby hats. I just got done putting pom-poms on them. Before I added the pom-pom, this one weighed 21 grams. It is 64 stitches around it, and I use 4.5 millimeter needles because it's a worsted weight yarn and it seems to work great with the 4.5 millimeter. And then this one is a little bit bigger. It is 72 stitches around, so it used 30 grams of yarn without the pom-poms. And when I got done, I had 17.5 grams left over from making the two hats. That's why I decided to add the pom-poms. Wasn't really enough to make more hats. So to use it up, I made a couple of pom-poms to put on the hats. I think they're cute with pom-poms. And so that was a good way to finish using the yarn ball up, except for this little teeny tiny piece. That's really not enough to do anything with. It's going to go over here in the bag of yarn tails that I donate, like to the school or whatever. Anything that I cut off, I save it, donate it to the school for art projects. I don't know if they actually ever use it or not, but it makes me feel better about what I'm doing with it. So I feel like maybe somebody will get some use out of it. Hopefully they can. I don't know. I had one UFO that I just frogged it. It wasn't this big. I didn't use this much yarn. It was just a washcloth that I had started called Tin Sealing Washcloth or Towel from Pearl Soho pattern. And I had gotten about half of it done for the washcloth and decided, or I set it aside for some reason. And when I picked it back up, I was going to finish it, but I could not for the life of me figure out where I was in the pattern. It's been years since I had started it. It was easier, frog it, start it over later, or maybe not at all. I don't know yet, but there was no point in trying to finish it because I could not figure out where I was. I did a couple rows and they weren't right, and I thought, not worth my time. So I just went ahead and frogged that one. I also have pulled out another acrylic scrap. I'm going to make a few more baby hats with this over the week. It's a pretty little aqua color worsted weight acrylic, Big Twist Value as well. And this one is called Aqua Ombre. So I'm going to do that with that yarn and get it used up. For my next projects, I'm going to start the anchor shirt with the butterscotch colored cotton yarn. I've got that at home in my trailer, so it's already ready to go. As far as my next project with stash yarn, I was going to make a Withies jacket, and I like this pattern. It looks really complicated, but the stuff in there that looks like cables is like it's almost like a mock cable. It's a twisted stitch where you knit two stitches together and you knit the other one again, and it makes it look like a cable. And the sample that they have on the picture there, when it's in color, is very similar to this color of yarn that I have. And I think I'm going to make this jacket with this yarn. I have 4 skeins of this. I bought this Fisherman's Wool, Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool, 10 years ago when Hancock Fabrics was going out of business in 2016. I picked up 4 of these. So that is going to be plenty to make this. I think I might only need 3, but I do have 4 of them. So eventually that I'm going to make that, but I'm going to start a different stash project first. I think I went ahead and bought the pattern for it. I have 2 skeins of this yarn. It is Yarn Treehouse. Put on my seeing eyes here. It's a lace weight, 100% merino. I bought this. I have the receipt here. When did I buy this? February 19th, 2009. 2009. I have had this in my stash for 17 years. And I have not done anything with it. So I decided it's time to get it out of my stash. I am going to make a mixed rib cami. I should have, I'm going to hold it double because it's too thin as a lace weight to make the pattern gauge by itself, but held double it should work. And there is 875 yards per ball. The size of the cami that I need should use about 825, I think it was, yards of yarn. So I should have plenty between the 2 balls held double to make the mixed rib cami in my size. So that is going to be my next plan to start with vintage yarn, because this is very vintage. This is about the time that I started getting really back into knitting and crocheting. I learned when I was about 7, so it's been a long time ago, and I would just do a project here and there. But then around this time, around 09, 08, 09, I really started getting back into it and doing it more and more and more, and I've been pretty obsessed since then. So it's time to use up some of that old stash that I've had hanging around since that time. And then I've got, I think after that, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of my stash because I've only got 2 things of lace weight yarn. I've got this and I've got this. And I'm not really a lace weight yarn person, so I don't know. When I bought this, I was thinking a shawl. I'm not a shawl person either. I'm not a shawl person. I'm not a lace weight yarn person. This is not ever going to be a shawl. And this was given to me by a friend, Kathy. She had got it in a grab bag of some other yarns, you know, where you go in the yarn store and they're kind of clearing out old stock, and so they put it all in a bag and you get the surprise yarns. So this is Lang Yarns Merino 400 lace, and I've got 2 different colors here. And my plan with these, since they are such a thin yarn and I don't really use the thin yarns too much, I am going to hold them together and make a Sophie scarf. And that ought to give me a nice marled look for a Sophie scarf out of these. And I think what I might do is just kind of weigh the balls, figure out how much I should use on each end of it, and go until I've used about half of it, and then start the decrease side. So I have no idea how long it's going to be or what size it'll end up being, but I think I'm going to use that up making a Sophie scarf because I just want to get the lace weight out of here. I keep all my yarns organized by weight. I have a tote with fingering weight I have a tote with sport weight, one with DK, more than one with worsted weight. I have one for bulky and one for super bulky, and I don't buy anything jumbo. So pretty much everything is in a tote by size. I'm looking over that way because it's over that way. So that will help me get rid of those 2 bags of yarn that are just kind of hanging out on top of a tote, because I don't use that size yarn. So those are some of my plans that I'm going to be working on throughout the next week or 2. And definitely going to be starting that Anchors shirt, and I'm sure I can get it done in time to still use it for summertime. It's only April. I'll have it done by the end of May, so it'll be good. I think I might take you over here and show you some of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to show you the volume of my yarn stash, part of it. All these bins. Those bags. That bin, that little one, and those 3 turquoise ones. And then, don't get too sick, I'm going to turn you around here in a second. Over here on this shelf we have coned yarns. Down here there's more. Those I got when I bought this table loom down here. I haven't ever used the table loom. That was the project that was on it when I bought it. I got it at an estate sale for a really great price. So yeah, all that yarn. I paid $30 because the sale was almost over, and I said, "Do you want to make a deal on all the yarn in the basement?" And they said, "Yep, we can do that." So I bought all that for $30. This is my whip shelf, my UFOs and whips. You might recognize the project bags. That has the Orange sweater, and that one is my zipper sweater light that just needs the zipper sewn in. And these are all projects that have been started and abandoned. Well, that one's from just earlier. I just put the yarn back on the shelf over here. That's not a project, that's jewelry. That is my beekeeper's quilt. I need to retie these together because this yarn comes untied. These are the ones that I've tied so far. This bag is filled with puffs to go into the beekeeper's quilt. All kinds of projects on here. I don't even remember what that is. No clue. That is a Hue Shift Afghan. It's going to be really pretty. All the squares are knitted. I just got to do it together. That's a bralette. All the knitting is done, but doesn't hold its shape very well, so I need to put some elastic thread through it or something to hold it, make it fit better. I'm not going to wear it out in public, but I thought it'd be nice around the house, like on the weekend. That's a quilt top. I started sewing it together, haven't gotten very far on it, and just shoved it in a bag. On the bottom are sewing projects. Some of them are things that I've just cut the thing out and gotten it ready to sew together, but I haven't actually sewn it together. I've got like the thread in there and everything's stuck together, so it'll be ready to go when I have a chance to sit down and sew. So I have a fabric stash too, obviously, because I sew. And, well, that one's not fabric, but all that. I've been trying to sort them by what kind of fabric they are. Oh, this whole room is a mess. I did start organizing it though a little bit. I've got all my yarn bins in one area, although I haven't had a chance to sort them out yet. That stuff there is for craft sales. So this bin is full of stuff that I made. This bin is full of stuff that I made. These are things that I've made. I just showed you those and that I showed you the other day. More things to sell at a craft show and display stuff. More things that I've made. I made all of this in all these bins. There's hats, there's slippers. One of these bins has display stuff in it. Everything else has stuff that I made. Over here, chapstick holders. They're a pain in the ass to try and display. That's a shoe rack that I put the things on upside down so I could just clip the little chapstick holders to it. So this is my mess. I am guilty of yarn hoarding and making more shit than I can consume. More stuff. So anyways, I will talk to you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.